All right, musicians, here we go. This will be a quick tutorial about the new Noteflight online workbook. When you log into Norton, this will be your landing page. Actually, you'll probably be here, but in any case, you'll go to Study Space, and then you'll enter Noteflight worksheets, and that'll bring you to this page. And if you click on Chapter 9, it'll pull down this drop-down menu. Your assignment is the first one, exercise 9.21A1, and I'm going to show you how to use this with 9.21A2. So here it is. I'll go full screen here, and away we go. So the first thing I want to show you is a couple of the controls. What I usually go to first is the zoom tool. That's on the bottom right. And I like to just zoom in nice and big. Also, you have in the bottom left your transport controls. So they're pretty limited. Play and stop. You can audition your cantus firmus before you start. So let's go ahead and try it. Headphones are in. There we go. Also down in the bottom right, you have your tempo control. So you can adjust it slower or faster. And then within every tempo, you can also adjust the playback, which seems a little redundant, but there it is. You also have the master volume control, your mixer control. The mixer is nice if you want to hear just one voice or the other. You can turn it up. You can pan it right or left. I'm going to leave it alone for now. Also, valuable controls. Well, not controls so much as features. At the top right, you can go to their YouTube page. If you click on Help Videos, it'll just take you through some tutorials. They'll be obviously less customized, but nonetheless helpful. There's also a user guide, which is also pretty good if you just want to read through how to do this. And that's it for now for the controls. So let's get into this homework. We're going to open a counterpoint. We say opening because this is not a complete counterpoint. It's just the first little piece. And we can tell that because, well, a few reasons. We don't end on do here. It's very short, and it just it doesn't have the features that you would expect to see with a counterpoint. It doesn't have one high point. It doesn't have it just doesn't have much to it. So we're gonna basically be making a fragment. So let's listen to it one more time. All right, pretty simple, do, ti, do, la. And I'm going to go ahead and start my counterpoint to go with this cantus firmus. So as you've probably noticed, when I mouse over different pieces of the score here, things that can be manipulated highlight in orange. So I'll start down here. You can either click in the score, or you can click on that rest, but in any case, a note head will appear underneath your mouse, underneath your cursor rather. And when I begin a counterpoint, I want to start either at a unison, at some kind of octave, or at a perfect fifth. In my case, I'm going to start a couple octaves down, right here. And as you can see, it's giving me a quarter note, which I do not want. I need to have a whole note because we're doing first species, or note-to-note counterpoint. So this palette that appeared down here, I'm just going to click on the whole note, and it will adjust accordingly. So, next measure. Looks like we're going down by a step. So, one of the best choices I can make is to use contrary motion and go up by a step. I could go up by a skip or a leap too, but I'm just going to go by step. So I'm going to go up to D. And I want to make sure that this is a consonance rather than a dissonance. So make sure you don't have some kind of seventh, a tritone, whatever. And in our case, this is going to work nicely. We've got a 6th. So I'm going to keep going. The cantus firmus is going to go back up by step. So I'm going to continue my line. I'm just going to keep going up by step. And I can do this because I've got the interval of a 6 here. And if I check my next interval, I've got E to a C, which is going to make another 6. Parallel 6s are okay. Parallel perfect intervals are not okay, but this one's going to work. Next one, the cantus firmus is going to skip down. So once again, I'm going to go back to contrary motion. And I'm going to just step up one more time. Continue my pattern of going up by step. So I'm up to the F there, and then F to A. Okay, that's a nice consonant harmony. It's like a third. In our case here, it's actually a 10th, but that's okay. Next thing I want to do is listen to it. So I'm going to audition using my transport control, play button. And that sounds pretty good. I'm listening for things like independence of line. Can I tell which voice is which? Yeah, it's pretty obvious. I can pick out either line easily enough. And I don't have any parallel fifths or octaves. I have consonant harmonies. This is a pretty decent counterpoint to go with that cantus firmus. So my next step is going to be to write in the harmonic interval numbers. So remember, that's only the quantity. You don't have to worry about quality. So the first one, right here, I started at the octave. So you just double click and type in 8. This palette, you can change the color if you want. That's what that does. I'm going to stick with black because it's already there. So the next one, from D up to B, it's a compound interval. We're going to reduce it to a 6th because it's really like an octave plus a 6th, but that's what we're going to use. Next one, same deal. E up to a C. We're going to call it a 6. And then my last one, you've got a couple options. Remember when it's a third, F to A, you're allowed to call it a third or a 10th. For me, it makes a little bit more sense to call it a 10th, so that's what I'm going to do. So now we're on to the last part. Label any skips or leaps. So I'm looking through. I know that the counterpoint I wrote is all steps, so I don't need to bother with that. I do also know that there is one skip in the cantus firmus. I saw that at the beginning, and that's from here to here. So in order to label that, you can click anywhere in the staff, basically, and your palette will come up again. And you're going to use this tool, the performance text. So this will bring up a new cursor down here, and you can just type into the score. I'll type skip because it's less than a leap. It's only an interval of a third. Now, I don't really like where this is placed. That doesn't make much sense to me. So if I click and drag, I can put it wherever I like. This kind of makes sense to me. I could also put it right at the bar line. It's kind of up to you. Make sure that it's in a reasonable location. And you're done. So that's how to navigate and how to operate in Noteflight. The next thing you're going to need to do is to share your homework with me. A couple ways you can do it. You can go up here to sharing, and you can give access to selected people. And my username is 1612515. So you can enter my username here and then press add. I don't need to add myself, but anyway, you can do that. Another thing that you can do is file, print, and we're not going to actually print it. We're going to print it to PDF. So you can either save it as a PDF or you can mail a PDF to me. Either way is cool. Doesn't matter. It's a few more steps that way, but it's still pretty easy to do. And then one of the nice things that you can benefit from if you use the sharing feature, this one, is I can make comments. I can annotate in your score. So, for example, on this one, so maybe I wanted to point out that you missed, there was a skip here or something. I can use this tool, annotation, and I can write a note. Watch out for the skip. Something like that. And then I can send it back to you, or actually it'll be in your account anyway. And you can find my annotations if I need to. Oh, if you click on it, I guess it'll add a note there. So you can see my comment. You can close it or delete it, whatever. I'm going to get rid of the notes that I just put in, and I'll put that C back. That's pretty much it for now. So your homework is the first worksheet, 9.2.1A1. And it's just, as I recall, 4 questions. So they've given you an example. You're gonna set the same canis firmus a different way than they've already done. So you might want to start maybe at the unison. That's a possibility, but it's up to you. So you've got this canis firmus, 4 notes. Here it is again. They've set it this way, and you're gonna set it a different way. So away you go. If you have any questions, email me or come see me tomorrow in class, whatever you want to do. Good luck.